Happy Christmas Floss Tube! It's just after midnight on Christmas Day. Father Christmas has obviously, well, not yet been to my house, but has given me some things to deliver to others tomorrow. So those are all ready and waiting. And my Advent Christmas jigsaw is now complete. I have to say, this is, I think, one of the best Advent things I've ever had. A really kind friend had made up this jigsaw. So she bought it specially, made it up, then divided it into little individual squares, which she put in numbered bags, so that every day during Advent I had a bag to open with about 50 pieces in it, very slightly, but about 50 pieces that made up a little section of the jigsaw. And as you can see, it's the kind of jigsaw where I didn't have a picture, I didn't have a box lid, and you can't tell. It's not like, oh, now we're going to have huge amounts of sky. It's full of interesting little details that doing it section by section was super fun. And then because my house is quite small and I don't really have a space that I can just leave a jigsaw out being worked on for days on end, I just kept mine in a stack of all the little sections that I'd done. And then earlier today, or actually yesterday, I think I was slightly ahead, I got all my bits together and had a lot of fun making them into the final jigsaw. Because I am useless, you'll see I've managed to lose a piece, which I was sort of hoping would turn up in my pre-Christmas cleaning, but anyway, it hasn't. I will have another look for it later, but I'm super pleased with that. So that is my first completed Advent thing to show you. Okay, let's just give it a little bit of a, there we go. Okay, I'm going to relocate and see you in a minute. So this is my paper Advent calendar. I think I have shown it before in a floss tube, and I'll maybe take a photo of the whole thing so that you can see it. It's this beautiful lino print from Angela Harding. It's called Holly Hedge. There were 2 or 3 different designs that she had of Advent calendars this year, and I thought this was absolutely beautiful. And I'm just going to open day 25. That's one of the things I really like about it, is it does have, can you see, day 25. So let's see, day 24 is beautiful robin. Some of them are Christmassier than others, but actually that's lovely. Can you see that? It's a beautiful sleigh full of presents. So that's a really nice Christmassy picture to finish on, which is sort of what I think Advent calendars should have, is they should have lots of lovely pictures and they should finish on the biggest Christmassiest one. So Advent is over. I am going to, maybe in a moment, go and get my other Advent things that I've been going through. But today is the first day of Christmas, not the last. And so I am doing this series of 12 days of Christmas mini floss tubes. I mean, I am in awe of anyone who manages to do proper Flossmas all the way through December. I mean, December is just such a busy time of year anyway, and to make time to record and upload videos every day, well, it's more than I have ever managed or even vaguely attempted. So I feel like the sort of post-Christmas period is a little bit quieter, and it is the traditional 12 days of Christmas. So I am going to attempt these mini little videos for the next 12 days. And to celebrate the 12 days of Christmas, I thought this was the perfect little treat. It is 12 red-legged partridge eggs, salted caramel and ganache. So obviously they are not real eggs, but I love that. These are chocolate partridge eggs. And since today is the first day of Christmas, which, I mean, maybe your true love has brought you a partridge in a pear tree. I don't have a true love to bring me those kind of things, but if I did, I'd certainly be expecting it. It says here, the red-legged partridge was first introduced to Britain from France in the late 17th century. He is a sociable bird and enjoys the company of family and friends. Well, that's lovely for Christmas Day, isn't it? Young fledglings remain in their family groups long after they are fully grown. Wow, lovely. And beautiful illustration by Madeline Floyd. I really like her bird paintings. As we open it up, oh, I mean, they do look beautiful. They really do. I bought these half price, but I mean, they're well within date. I don't know why they were half price. So I shall enjoy one of those every day for the next 12 days. There we go, that's better. I've repinked my hair for Christmas. I haven't quite brushed it fully yet. So this evening, 7 o'clock, Christmas Day, 25th of December, 7 p.m. UK time, that's GMT. I will be having my first YouTube Live, hooray! So do come along. I don't love Christmas Day. I will be spending most of the day with my family. So I have my brother and his wife, a young niece and nephew, his in-laws, my parents. It'll be fine, but I will be ready by 7 o'clock to escape all of that and come and sit in my nice quiet house with some stitching and just chat to whoever's around. I've had some pretty miserable Christmases in the past. I know what it feels like to be lonely at Christmas or on your own or sad. Yeah, and I think sometimes you just want space to be on your own, but sometimes it's nice just to connect with other people who are also not having the best day in the world. If you are on Twitter, I highly recommend the hashtag #JoinIn. It's run by Sarah Millican, but it's become a quite a big thing over Christmas in the last few years, and it's people who are having slightly miserable Christmas days cheering each other up and just, you know, connecting with people and having something to say. And are you just watching TV as well on your own and that kind of thing? So you might enjoy that. One of the things I am planning to do over this little mini series is a little feature called the 12 Days of Generosity. I think, you know, this Christmas is quite a hard time for a lot of people. A lot of people are really worried about money or already struggling for money. And I think also quite a lot of us at Christmas receive quite a lot of things. You know, sometimes we give things and sometimes we receive things and hopefully both. But it is a time where, you know, we will have often spent quite a lot of money on ourselves and our family and our presents. And so I have 12 ideas of ways in which you could show some love to other people, generosity to other people, most of which don't involve giving any money. So it's not 12 different ways to give money to charity, 12 ways of showing a generous spirit. And my first today is just really simple. Think about whether you know somebody who is likely to be feeling sad or lonely or both today, and just reach out to them. Just send them a text message, thinking of you, hoping you're having a good day. Let's meet up soon. If it's appropriate, you might want to pick up the phone and just say, have you got 5 minutes? Let's have a little chat. You know, but it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be much, but just somebody who you think, I think they're probably a bit sad this Christmas. Maybe they've lost somebody they loved this year. Maybe they haven't been able to travel because of the train strikes. Maybe they haven't been able to travel because they can't afford it this year. Somebody who you think is probably having a slightly miserable day, and just reach out and say, just thinking of you at Christmas. Yeah, whatever's appropriate. So that's my idea for today. And every day, like I say, I'll have just a little idea of a way that you might show some generosity. Some of them will be bigger ideas that involve a bit more planning. But, you know, I'm certainly not expecting anyone to do all 12 of them. I won't be doing all 12 of them. Some of them are things I've done in the past and I might do again. Some of the things I definitely plan to do this year that I thought I'd mention to you as well. So, live stitch this evening, 12 Days of Generosity. I've shown you my Advent jigsaw and my traditional Advent calendar. I am now just going to go and get the proceeds of my other Advent calendars and just have a little chat about what I got and what I plan to do with those. So the first Advent thing I got, I had this Advent box a couple of years ago. I didn't get it last year, I don't think. And then I was sort of umming and ahhing back in the summer when it was being advertised. Do I want that again? It's quite a lot of money. But actually, I was really pleased I did, because within a few days of it arriving back in October, November, the shop owner announced very suddenly and unexpectedly that she was closing her shop. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm quite glad I've got the advent box because I'm now stocked up on things. So this used to be the shop where I purchased a lot of planner supplies. It was called, you can see in the back here, Ellie Beth Designs UK. She was based up in Lancashire, and she mostly sold planner stickers, but various other accessories as well. And one of the reasons I loved the advent boxes was because they included these. Let me hold this all the way back. So she sold these as planner pouches because of planning business, and you could put your planner in that and your pencils and pens and your kit with it. I have added the zip in the top because I opened this a few weeks ago, and I like these as project bags. For ages I've used them as knitting project bags. They're perfect size for socks or scarves or something like that, but now I use them as cross-stitch project bags, and I really love this. It's this sort of oatmeal coloured main fabric, but then this striped border with all these beautiful florals and this peacock print here. So that was one of the items in the advent calendar. There was also this, which little, I mean, it's a very little pencil case. I have pencils that are definitely bigger than this. I think it would be perfect as a tiny little notions pouch. You could definitely get a pack of needles, some thread clips, or even some small scissors in there. So yeah, I haven't quite decided how I'll use that. It's got this beautiful covered button on it as well. So those two came in that. And then the rest of this, I have now put this all away. So I'm not going to show you all of it. Came with a sticker book, which I've already mauled about in my usual way. It had a whole sticker up here with a phrase that I didn't really like, so I cut it off so it just has the flowers. And I've just used this sticker book to put in the strips of washi tape, washi stickers from the various sheets that were in the thing, because it also came with, as one of the items, so the sticker book was in it, this folder, A5 folder, and you can hole punch your sticker sheets and put them in here, but obviously you don't want to use the washi strips when they've been hole punched. So let's find one that was actually from the kit. I've got a whole lot of half sheets in here as well. Yeah, this was definitely from the kit. So this had a whole strip of washi tape down here, which I've taken off, put in the sticker book, and then hole punched. And I finally got around to going through all my stash of sticker sheets as well and put those in there. So you can see some of these are ones that I've already used quite a lot of. Turns out I have got quite a lot of stickers, so it's not a disaster that she has shut up shop. I will be all right for a little while, I think. One of the things I'm going to do during my 12 days of Christmas is a planner discussion. I've got a work planner that I've been using for ages that's slightly changed this year, and I've got a new planner that I'm trying out for my everyday all things together planner, and I'm going to try doing craft planning in there as well, but I'll also talk about different planning systems that I've used. So that was my sticker-ish advent calendar. There were also a couple of rolls of washi tape in that one, and a pen, and various other sort of accessories as well, but mostly it was stickers, and the beautiful hand sewn bags that she used to do. Now, the other advent calendar was a much more last minute impulse buy. I was quite jealous of everyone who'd ordered cross-stitching advent calendars from Patchwork Rabbit or Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I've been really enviously watching everyone doing the Roxy Flosco Evertote Modern Folk Embroidery holiday countdown. So I searched around and I found something which is not a cross-stitch advent calendar, but it was from an embroidery shop. I will put the link below. It's called Corrie's Little Embroidery Shop, something like that. Anyway, it was a sort of last minute thing, like I say, but it's been brilliant. I've really, really loved it. And you'll see more about this at some other point. But I just, most days there were different kinds of thread. There was also a whole project within there and a whole range of different things. So I'm just going to really quickly show you some of the things we got. So one day we had these tea skeins. These are a pearl cotton, 12 weight. So a bit like a sort of sulky weight thread. Quite a lot of the threads from this company that I've never heard of before, called Presencia Filatura and made in Spain. So those two will be useful and interesting to cross stitch with. There were a couple of skeins, now I should have organised this better, of, here we are, ordinary 6-strand embroidery floss, again from that same company. One in this beautiful dark teal and then that variegated pink. So that was one day worth. Then there were, I say then, I have no idea what order all of these came in. But anyway, this is another thing which we got. And there were 3 of them and I've only got 2. There we are. That's the other one. One day we got 3 skeins. This is Madeira Lana. So this is a wool thread. There are 25 meters of each of these. A sort of variegated aqua, solid aqua, and then this sort of variegated bluish purple. Those are beautiful. I think you could definitely do cross stitch with those as well as embroidery. So we'll see. We had a few skeins from Aurifil. So this is Aurifil 12 weight, which again is sort of their equivalent of sulky in that sort of dark burgundy colour. This one is Aurifil wool, again in a 12 weight, so similar to the Madeira Lana, but the Aurifil version. Similar colour actually to the Aurifil Lana. This is Aurifloss. So this is their 6-strand embroidery floss, and it's this beautiful variegated pink, white, aqua. I have to think quite carefully about what I will use that for. I think it might be quite fun on a design that is monochromatic, and then it's just got the inbuilt variegation. But I've never tried Aurifloss before, so I was glad to have that. Had a spool of this, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Yeah, you can just about see. It's glittery. Anyway, this is Glamour Madeira embroidery thread. It's pretty fine. I think you could use a strand of this along with a strand of ordinary cotton embroidery floss, which is kind of often my favourite way of using metallic threads, is one strand with one strand normal, or you could use 2 strands of that. Anyway, there's tons of this. 200 meters, so you know that'll keep me going for a while. What else? These 2. Now I'm not quite sure what these are. I need to look up actually on the website. One says silver and one says midnight, and they are both beautifully sparkly thread. It is it stranded or not? I did look and now I can't remember. It's also coming undone is what it is. Let's have a look. Yes, it is stranded. It's got 4 strands. It looks like it might be a nightmare to sew with, but it's super, super pretty. So the dark blue and the silver in that. Right, I'm just throwing it all on the floor. Let's pick this up. Okay, what have we got? Madeira Decora. So this is rayon embroidery floss from Madeira. 3 colours of that, a blue, a white, and the variegated blue. You can see quite a lot of these, not all of them. Quite a lot of them are in a similar kind of colour scheme, and that's because they make up the project, which I'll explain in a minute. So this is stranded embroidery, but it is rayon rather than cotton, which gives it a kind of sheen to it. I think that could be fun to try. We've got some Madeira silk. Again, 3 colourways of that. This is sort of grey blue, and more of a blue, and a silver. 5 meters of silk thread in each of those. I think that is stranded. I haven't pulled it out to have a look, but I think it is stranded silk floss. So that's nice. Right, we're getting through these. We have got these 2, which I've taken the plastic off one of them, but they are the same kind of thread. And these are again by Presencia. And I think it's rayon. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a very noticeable twist to it. And I can't see any other information. It's called La Paletta. Any other information on it? I would say that is rayon. It's got that sort of shiny but slightly artificial feel to it. I don't think it's silk. in those two really lovely colours, actually, that sort of peachy apricot and the blue grey. 2 strands of ordinary Gutermann sewing thread, one in their ordinary polyester and one in their recycled polyester, which I'm interested to try because I've not tried that. So I would use those just for ordinary sewing machine sewing, or I guess hand sewing. Right, 3 skeins of, which reminds me, there's one other thing that I haven't got here that actually, 3 skeins of chenille thread. So I don't think any of these, that's not quite true. I was going to say none of these are hand dyed. I think the next one I'm going to show you might be. Yeah, so this is not like the kind of chenille trim that you might have seen people use. It's much finer than that. You could definitely do cross stitch with this and you'd get a really interesting texture for it, like on a 14 or maybe a 16 count. I probably wouldn't use it on anything higher count than that. Yeah, nice little colorway there. That's sort of, yeah, it's called coral, but it's sort of a brownish terracotta, the dark midnight and the slightly creamy off-white. Okay, Rayon Supreme. This is from Jennifer Gale Threads in Honeysuckle, and you can see that's a really pretty yellow, pink, grey. Now, the other thing which I haven't got to show because I've already used it was, I think, also from Jennifer Gale Threads, and it was a hand-dyed chenille thread, a similar weight to the ones I've just shown you, but variegated pinks and mauves and purples. And you'll see what I use that for in one of my videos coming up soon. Okay, some proper, I think there was only one of this, yeah, proper metallic here. This again is from, is it? No, this is from a company called Finca, but I think it's also Spanish. I might have made that up. Anyway, 34% polyester, 56% viscose, 8 meters, super metallic-y. Yeah, made in Spain, it does say. Quite a nice sort of, I mean, it's not quite an old gold, but it's not bright yellow. Okay, iridescent chenille thread. I mean, that's fun. I don't know what you'd use it for, like a snowman, maybe, Santa stuff. It's got little, I don't know if you can quite see, the iridescence is slightly on the pinker end. Let's just see if it's going to focus on that at all. Anyway, you can definitely see how sparkly it is. So you see a really fun range of stuff. Now, lots of little things in packets. So the embroiderer who put this together, she specialises in gold work, which is to say metal work. It's always called gold work, even if it's not actually gold. I don't think anything that she sent is precious metal. I think it's, you know, non-precious metal. But it's super fun. I've done a little bit of gold work in the past, but not loads. And there's just a lot of things to try. So these two came one day. There's a sort of metallic black and a sort of teal colour. Those are both called 3-ply twist. You get 2 meter lengths of each colour. Then, I'm not going to take all of these out of the packets for you. There's a lot of different threads that are like this. Now, this is what's called a pearl. And I'll just show you because I've had a little play with it at the end of it. And it's basically a coiled thread. See that? And when you stitch with it, what you do is you pull it out like I have here, far enough that the coil stays uncoiled, and then you couch around it, and it creates a beautiful thing. So anyway, chunk of dark green, 2 meters of that. And then I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to show this. We've also got passing thread, which is, let me find one of those that's open. The pearl comes in different kinds of stuff that's called pearl and frosted pearl and cut pearl. This is the cut pearl, actually. I'll just show you that because I've got this out already. The cut pearl has, I don't know if you can see that, has a slightly sort of unevenness in the coil. Gives that a little bit of texture there. Some of what we've got is plate. Now, plate is interesting. Plate reminds me of, do you remember the stuff you used to get that people used to hang over their Christmas trees in the early 1980s that was sort of flat metallic strips? And I think it was called lametta. And plate is a bit like that. You can't really see the colour on that at all. This one is lilac. And again, you would just put this on and couch down. So anyway, there's loads and loads of these little bags. Like every day we got one of these, there would be at least 2 or 3, excuse me, different colours of the same thing. There's this, which is called Sparkly Cord. Okay, this is also pearl, but you can see this is a much finer, well, I don't know if you can see it, it is a much finer and slightly frosted colour to it. I'm trying to not get these all tangled up. That was the cut pearl. What's that? Oh, that's a different thing. Okay, I'm not going to show you more of the pearl metallic threads at this point. But anyway, there was loads of this stuff. And it was just a really nice sort of selection. If you're someone who hasn't done lots of this kind of embroidery before, it can be quite difficult to build up enough stuff to do fun projects with. Anyway, that's my whole pile of stuff there. And it is now then safely on the table. You know, so a range of things. So anyway, I did also treat myself to a pair of Goldwork scissors. Goldwork scissors, not to be confused with embroidery scissors. I'm not going to be able to show you this, I don't suppose. But anyway, they have a serrated blade, which you can't see, but I promise you is there. And you need a serrated blade, partly, well, you need a serrated blade to be able to hold the metal and cut it where you want. Otherwise, it'll just slip all over. And you also need a special pair of scissors because it will ruin your nice embroidery scissors if you cut metal thread with them. So then the other thing that was great about this calendar, by the way, 25 actual numbered bags, plus a bonus, which was like open it when you feel like it, which had a hot chocolate bomb in it, plus the string and the pegs and stuff to hang it all up in a separate bag. So it really felt like it was nicely done. So I think this was maybe day 24. You got the hoop and fabric for the project. So I think this might be Moda Grunge. It's got that sort of feel to it. It's a quilting cotton anyway, and it's a slightly mottled kind of dark blues, and also a piece of calico that when you're doing this sort of stitching, it's always good to have as your backing fabric, because then you can really do heavy stitching on it without worrying about distorting your surface fabric. And so then the last day we got, and I just love this, paintbrush, 2 little things of, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, metallic watercolour paint in the same sorts of colours that we've seen quite a lot of threads, and a pattern. Let me see if I can open this and show you. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's what she's called, Corrie's Little Shop, and it's this pattern with all of these snowflakes on it. And you've got all the kit at this point to do exactly that. You've got the fabric, you've got all the threads, you've got the paintbrush. I think the only thing we haven't got is needle and scissors. But I loved that idea of an advent calendar that built up to something you could do. And it's a little sort of sampler kind of thing, designed to use a lot of different stitches, which there are instructions for. So there's the sort of outline for the pattern, which I won't show you, but then you can see stitches and techniques, and she's showing you how to do all the different stitches, chain stitch, and then chipping, which is a way that you use some of the threads that we've been given, stitching up the pearl or the couching threads, French knots, spider wheels, stem stitches, whip chain stitch, loads of different stitches that you can then try out on the pattern, and the instructions if you want to do it like her, the different snowflakes that she's done. I thought it was really well thought through, really well put together. You know, if you were someone who is an experienced Goldwork stitcher, you've got lots of things that you can just use. But if you're an inexperienced Goldwork stitcher, you've got lots of things that you can learn to use. Anyway, I've talked for much longer than I meant to. today. I hope you all do have a lovely day. If you're watching this and it is Christmas Day and there's still time, do come and join me for my YouTube live later, and I will be back tomorrow with something different.